And so if you can hear us, that what your real work is to understand that the stream is flowing, and we're going to do our best sales job ever to help you understand that it is flowing and that it is flowing on your behalf. The stream is flowing, and if you will stop trying so hard to go in opposition to the stream, if you'll just relax, off you'll go. So why would you not just relax and go with the stream? It sounds silly when you think about it in terms of what we've been describing here, doesn't it? And yet, often you find yourself, Esther laughs sometimes. Sometimes she's not laughing when she realizes that she often uses other criteria than how she feels, which is closing the gap, as she is choosing the direction of her thought. Have you ever been in a position where you're right and you know you're right and you know they're wrong? They have deceived you. They are wrong. They have broken the agreement. They've broken the contract. They have told you a lie. And you know that they're wrong, and you know that any court of law in the land would agree with you that you're right and they're wrong. But in your determination to push against them, you've still got your canoe pointed in the wrong direction, and you're still paddling against the current, and you're still not letting yourself move toward that which your confrontation with them has caused you to become. In other words, do you know that every rascal that you interact with causes you to contribute mightily to your vibrational escrow? Do you know that your vibrational escrow is full of good stuff because of all of those terrible people that you have interacted with? The more you've lived life and the more trouble they have given you, the more you've contributed to vibrational escrow, and the brighter the source energy part of you is. But when you stand determined to defend yourself in your rightness, you hold yourself in opposition to the current, and that's why they make you so crazy. You say, oh, I wish I'd never met that person because I felt so much better before. And we say, maybe you felt better before, we'll give you that, but you were less of a person before you met the rascal because the rascal caused you to contribute more to what you want. And if you'll just stop caring about them and stop making it about who's right and who's wrong and just let yourself go with the flow of what life has caused you to become, there may even be a time that you will see them and thank them. You'll say, oh, troublemaker that you are. You gave birth within me to so many magnificent things, and once I got over making it about you and me, I flowed in a place that I could not have flowed if you had not given me so much grief. We know that they seem like they are the trouble. Esther is laughing as they are hooking their tow car up to the monster bus. They do it when they get ready to drive across the country. And Jerry and Esther have two different styles of the way they like to do this. Esther likes to get in a nice big clear space where they can get everything lined up nice and straight, and once it's all hooked on, off they go. And Jerry likes to hook the tow car on anywhere he can because he enjoys the challenge of making it work against all odds. We're exaggerating not at all. And so Esther always yields to Jerry's way of doing it because she would rather that he be wrong than that she be wrong. So the other day, they were in a rather close predicament. They were in a campground and there were trees all around, and while Esther was showering, Jerry went out and put the car behind and hooked it on. Which meant, and you have to understand that with this towing situation, you cannot back this up at all. You can only go forward when the tow car is hooked on. And so Esther is behind the driving wheel of the bus. And Jerry is outside with the walkie-talkies. And Esther is looking, and she is trying to calculate how far that tree is from the front of her and whether she can make the turn at all. And then she is looking in her rearview mirrors, recognizing that the car has to come around a very narrow place. And Esther is thinking, this is as close as it has ever been. And then she thought, I hope we have to unhook it. And then she began to laugh, because she realized that she would rather be right than have things go well. And we say, how is it that you have come in your comparative environment to compare yourself to others to the point that being right matters most? And the thing that is really funny about that from our perspective is that it's as if you think that there is only one right way, when the universe will yield to you infinite right ways. So if you can give up on this competitive thing, and we know it started when you were little, they put you in classrooms together, they measured you against each other, they praised that one while they condemned that one, and they gave you rewards if you were good, and they punished you if you were bad, to the point where you have set your guidance outside of yourself, most of you, at a very early age. Most of you care more about what they feel about what you feel than you care about what you feel. Most of you are more concerned with what somebody thinks about you and then their feeling response to what they think than you do about how you feel. And the only thing that we are wanting you to be aware of is how you feel, because how you feel tells you everything that you need to know about the only thing that is important, which is the relationship between you and you. So are you getting the drift from our point of view? You are source energy in a physical body. You are the embodiment of that which man wants to call God. You are non-physical energy in physical bodies, and you came with such zest and eagerness and knowledge of your unequivocal worthiness. And so you came forth into this physical body, and here you are now experiencing contrast, and the contrast, variety, gives you clarity about what you want, and that larger part of you becomes it constantly, and you are now in every moment in some vibrational relationship with what life has caused you to become and where you stand right now. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, the one and only thing that we would ever be interested in is, how can I close that gap? How can I find a thought that feels good right now? Because if I can find a thought that feels good right now, then I'll be vibrationally up to speed with what this controversy, with what this challenge, with what this predicament, with what this life experience has caused me to become. We want so much for you to leave this seminar knowing that everything that you feel has only to do with the vibrational relationship between you and you, period. It hasn't got anything to do with what one other person is doing or thinking or being about anything. It's only about you. And so when we call this gathering the art of allowing, we mean that on so many levels. We mean the art of allowing myself in my human body to be up to speed with how the broader part of me thinks. When we talk about the art of allowing, we're talking about allowing myself to be in vibrational sync with the energy that creates worlds. When we talk about the art of allowing, we're talking about allowing myself to live in this moment the dynamics that all of the lives that I've been living have brought me to. Do you know that this is the leading edge of thought? It is the furthermost point of creation that exists. Humans don't get that. Often they think that source energy is perfect, sitting on some cloud somewhere, dangling feet over the edge. All finished, and that you are here being tested so that you can somehow get up to speed with that which source is. And we say, source is expanding through you. And source takes the expansion instantaneously from the contrast you live, and you take a little while further getting up to speed with it. So why would I do that? Why in the world, Abraham, would I, if I am source energy, if I'm pure positive energy, if I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on, if I'm feeling that damn good, why would I come forth into a physical body and expose myself to all of this contrast? Tell me again, why would I do that? And we say, because you knew that the contrast would cause you to expand. And you say, yes, but if part of me expanded and the other part of me is over here complaining, then how have I gained anything? We hear you. How have I gained anything? And we say, because the expansion is what we are all about. In other words, we cannot cease expansion. And you knew from that broader non-physical perspective that when life caused you to expand, that you would be able to feel in your emotions, you would be able to feel yourself into alignment with that expansion. And you never for a moment questioned. You, not one of you said, but what if I get down there and the contrast is so great that while I'm sifting through it and deciding what I want, I get stuck over there in the vibration and I don't let myself go that. Not one of you worried about that, because you knew that the stream was powerful and that it would be almost impossible for you to not to large degree go with the stream. And we've got to say to you, no matter how you're living in this physical world experience, that still is the way we see it. The stream is so powerful, it insists that you go with it. You have to work very hard not to, and when you do, that stream will beat you up pretty good. So next time you feel negative emotion, stop and say to yourself, clearly, my life has caused me to become something that right now I'm not letting myself become. This on-restrict that I've been on, or this depression, or this anger, this whatever this negative emotion is my indicator that I'm holding on to some criteria and using it as my excuse to push against the current. And we say, friends, you can't win. You can't win against that current. It is the inevitable thing. When you croak, it's going to take you right into bliss. Why hold out until then? Why not just let loose and let the stream carry you into all of the things that you have been asking for? If you're a surfer and you're paddling out, you're watching for that wave, that current. And your favorite thing is to get right on the crest of that wave and ride that. And when you do it a time or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 or 40 or 50, you feel it as such the predominant thing that you're reaching for that you don't even mind the time that you're paddling to get into the current. And what we're wanting you to understand is that you can reach this place where life can cause you to ask for something beyond where you are, but in your knowledge of the law of attraction, and in your knowledge of this current, and in your knowledge of your worthiness, and in your ability to apply the techniques that cause you to relax and go with the current, you can reach the place where life will cause you to ask and you'll relax right into what you've asked for, and life will cause you to ask and you'll relax right into what you've asked for. And those watching you will say, how is it that you live so well? How is it that it seems that you barely get an idea of something that you prefer, and circumstances and events arise in order to accommodate you? And you might explain to them, well, I finally came back round to remembering who I am. I remember that I was source energy before I got here, and that I am good. And I remembered that I came into this environment because I wanted the contrast to help me to finely tune the specifics of the life that I want to live. And I remembered that source energy would be right there with me, calling me toward it. And most of all, I figured it out finally that it's good to feel good. I don't know when I let go of that. It seems so screwy to me now. But finally, I care infinitely about how I feel. And so I have a new mantra you'll tell your friends who are watching you with amazement. And this is the mantra that we want you to pick up and carry with you all the rest of the days of your physical life. I'm going to reach for the best feeling thought I can find from where I am right now. Not the best thought I've ever thought, and not the best feeling I've ever felt, but from where I am right now, wherever I am in this stream, because of whatever it is that life is bringing to me, from wherever I am right now, I'm going to relax and let myself turn and go with the current. And as that is your determination, it is our promise to you that this stuff that is amassed for you in vibrational escrow will begin flowing into your experience at an unprecedented rate. But friends, you will never empty out the account, because life will cause you to keep putting more into it. And the bigger your life is and the more you flow to it, the bigger the current, the stronger the current, the stronger the current, the more your emotions will feel. Sometimes people will say to us, Abraham, is it normal for all hell to break loose in one's life when they begin doing this work? And we say, yes. And the reason is because as you begin thinking more about what you want, as you begin being more deliberate in your thought, you begin to let the current go faster and faster and faster and faster. And a car that's going 100 miles an hour, when you hit a tree, it's a bigger problem than a car that's going 5 miles an hour. And so you've got your energy moving pretty fast. And it's time for you to relax and allow yourself to go with the stream. And that's what we'll talk about. We'll begin with someone when we come back from segment of refreshment, and we will show you how to close that vibrational gap. And when you realize that that is simply all you need to know to live anything and everything that you want, we can feel the empowerment that is rising forth within you. So, good time for segment of refreshment. We are complete.